Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Alpine Shire Council Ordinary Council meeting, 24th of September, totally online tonight. Item number 1, and I'd like to introduce our new Director of Corporate and Community, Miss Natalie Cook, who is currently or tonight acting CEO. Thank you, Ms. Cook. Would you please read the recording and live streaming of council meetings?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All council meetings are filmed with both video and audio being recorded. This meeting is being held online and audio and video is focused on councillors and council officers. In accordance with Alpine Shire Council's governance rules, which were adopted on the 27th of July 2024, question time, notices of motion, general business and reports by delegates will not be presented during the election period. The reasoning behind recording council meetings is to hold us more accountable and improve transparency of council's decision making to our community. The full meeting is being streamed live on Council's YouTube video channel, which is Alpine Shire Council, and will also be available on the YouTube channel shortly after the meeting.
Thank you. Item 2, the acknowledgement of traditional custodians. Alpine Shire Council acknowledges the traditional custodians of the lands on which we may be meeting today. Council also acknowledges all the traditional custodians of the wider lands of the area known as the Alpine Shire. Alpine Shire also acknowledges those people who have contributed to the rich fabric of our community and strive to make wise decisions that will improve the quality of life for all. Item 3, confirmation of minutes. The recommendation is the minutes of the Ordinary Council meeting held on the 27th of August 2024, as circulated, be confirmed. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Kelly. Seconded.
Councillor Janus.
Thank you, Councillor Janus. All those in favour, please. Show of hands. Thank you. That is carried. Sorry, Councillor Janus, you're just not showing up on my screen, so I didn't see that. The only apology tonight is the CEO, Mr. Will Jeremy. Hence, we have Ms. Cook sitting in the chair. There are no obituaries and congratulations tonight. There will be no, do any councillors have declarations of conflict of interest in anything with tonight's agenda? No, thank you. In accordance with the Alpine Shire Council governance rules, during caretaker period, public questions are not being heard tonight either. Which leads us straight into the presentation of reports by officers, and I have the Director of Assets, Mr. Alan Rees, please. 8.1.1, the petition rubbish collection frequency. Thank you, Mr. Rees.
Thank you, Mayor. This report relates to the petition seeking more frequent collection of public rubbish bins in Bright. Just by way of background, on the 27th of August 2024, a member of the community hand-delivered a petition to council relating to public bins in Bright, and the petition was assessed and considered to satisfy council's governance rules, with a number of 235 signatories attached to that petition. The petition sought 2 actions from council. One was that public bins be emptied more frequently, especially during weekends and events and public holidays, and also to replace the current contractors with more effective ones. At the meeting on the 27th of August, council did pass a resolution to amend the contract for SSX, who provide the public bin service in Alpine Shire, and council officers had assessed the requirements of the frequency of service leading up to that meeting, and so I can happily confirm that service frequencies have actually been increased as approved by council at that meeting. I subsequently met with the proponent of the petition and clarified their desire to see council replace the current contractors and also to seek more clarity about which public bins required additional services. It was a very constructive discussion, and the understanding of the proponent was that some of the bins that they're seeking to be serviced more regularly are in fact not council's bins, but in fact belong to businesses. And so he's working with those businesses, and council officers will also engage with them. And he also actually complimented the quality of service provided by the contractor and felt that they were doing an adequate level of service for Bright. So by way of this evening's proceedings, the recommendation is for Council to acknowledge the petition as tabled, and over to you for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Rees. Could I have a mover for this recommendation, please? Thank you, Councillor Nicholas and Councillor Hughes. Councillor Nicholas, any commentary, please?
Yes, just a little bit of commentary. I did have some contact with the person who put the petition in family, and they really, I thought it was terrific that the council have been able to respond so quickly. So well done. I know it was already in train, but it was really good timing.
Very good. Councillor Hughes.
Nothing further to add. Thank you.
Right. Any other councillors have any comments on this particular item? Yes, Councillor Kelly.
Thanks, Mayor, and look, I share the sentiment in terms of terrific to see this engagement and response. I think the other benefit is it shows to our service provider that our community, like ourselves, are passionate and very focused on having great amenities. One question I've got for Director Rees, if I may, is the operator of effectively what is considered public bins on private land. What do they need approval to have those kinds of facilities on offer at their place of business, or is that outside of our remit? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kelly. I think that is outside of our remit, and hence we're working with them to assess service levels that they are offering and encourage them to match the service levels to the demand on those particular facilities.
Thanks, Mr. Rees.
Any other comments? Good. Let's put this recommendation to the vote then, please. Those in favour? Thank you. That has been carried. Moving on to item 8.2, 8.2.1, and tonight we'll be introducing the Acting Director of Community and Corporate, Mr. Tony Cooper. Instruments of delegation. Thank you, Mr. Cooper.
Good evening, Mayor. I've got two administrative reports here that I'm presenting. The first one is around instrument of delegations. So instruments and delegations are an important means of allowing council to ensure its officers hold the appropriate legislative powers for the various acts and regulations that council administers. Tonight we're seeking approval through the recommendations to update instrument of delegation S5, instrument of delegation from council to the Chief Executive Officer, instrument of delegation S6 from council to members of council staff, and instrument of delegation S18, instrument of subdelegation from council to members of council staff, EPA. The main premise is we have a couple of rebadged roles. The Director of Customer and Community is being rebadged as the Director of Corporate and Community, and we're implementing a new role called the Manager of Regulatory Services. So the update of these instruments of delegations are to include those staff in the delegations and provide them the powers to do their role.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. It makes a long read when you actually look at the recommendations, but it's just the way the governance works, I believe. Could I have a mover for these the recommendations under the first instruments of delegation item, please? A mover. Thank you, Councillor Janus. Seconder, Councillor Prime. Councillor Janus, anything to add?
Oh, no, nothing to add. I don't know whether the Local Government Act 2020 doesn't allow us to do these things, but we get a lot of these before council all the time, and just wondering if it's more efficient if the CEO has the authority to do it going forward. But maybe the Act says no, they can't, and it has to come to council. But anyway, to me, it just saves like it's business as usual. Just a few words changed, and the roles are still there.
I'm just wondering whether or not Acting CEO or Mr. Cooper has a direct answer for you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We can take that on notice and look into the processes around delegations and authorisations.
Thank you. Councillor Prime, anything extra?
No, nothing to add from me. Thank you.
All right. Any other councillors like to comment on this one? No? Let's put this lot to the vote then. Those in favour, please. Thank you. That is carried. Item 8.2.2, another administrative item, I believe, Mr. Cooper. Instruments of Appointment and Authorisation Planning and Environment Act. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. So this paper is around the instruments of appointment and authorisations under the Planning and Environment Act 1987. Similar to the previous paper, this is primarily around the changing of role titles and providing the appropriate delegations or authorisations under the Act. So this paper is seeking a recommendation to update section Instrument of Appointment and Authorisations, Planning and Environment Act 1987 to include the Director of Corporate and Community and Senior Statutory Planning Officer titles in the authorisations, and removing Director of Customer and Community, a Planning Officer and Strategic Planning Coordinator from the current delegation authorisations.
Thank you. Can I have a mover for this this particular item, agenda item? Councillor Kelly and Councillor Hughes, thank you. Councillor Kelly.
Thanks, Mayor. I need to probably reiterate and perhaps take the question on notice for this second item as well, whether there's some other way that we can work through delegations and the administrative process.
Certainly. Councillor Hughes.
Nothing further, thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other councillors would like to push the executive to try and find another way to do these? No? Okay, let's put this lot to the vote then as well. Those in favour, please. Thank you. That is carried. Right, it's a very short meeting tonight. The item 9, which is informal meeting of councillors. Item 10, reports by delegates. Item 11, general business. Item 12, motions for which notice has previously been given. And item 13, reception and reading petitions, are all non-starters tonight due to our caretaker period. So that leaves us with item 14, documents for sealing, and you will have a list of those documents for sealing which basically relate to those items that Mr. Cooper presented. So could I have a couple of councillors, please, who are willing to put their hands up for this? Councillor Hughes and Councillor Prime. Thank you very much. Right, I believe that electronic signatures will possibly be used this particular time, so that's fine. And that being the case, we can declare this meeting closed at 5:14. Thank you very much for your attendance, and I believe we have a special council meeting coming up in a fortnight's time, which again will be quite a brief one, just to, there's some business arising that needs to be sorted. So thank you very much and enjoy the evening.